everywhere I've moved, it has felt like something is there. Please just ignore the box. I tried here. I'm in PJ pants. I got hot chocolate, and I tried to find like a spooky shirt, so I just have a Slaughterhouse Zombie Prom staff shirt on from 2012. It is clearly too small for my man arms. This is honestly probably going to be a pretty spooky video, and I'm home alone. I'm a huge believer in the paranormal, a huge believer in the things unknown. Naturally, I'm attracted to it, and it's attracted to me because I already have such an interest in it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I think that I'm haunted. The way I know that it's not someone that has recently passed away in my life is because it's been happening since for as long as I can remember. As I'm talking about this, like a random ass phone number is calling me. Hello? Hello? Anyways, as I was saying, I'm haunted. Here's the theory. Every time I move to a new place or I stay at a new place, something happens at that place to me and whoever else is staying there. I first get to a new place, like, it's almost as if whatever's following me is settling in as well. The earliest I can remember it happening is when I was still seeing my dad. When I was really, really young, I was still going to private school, so how old would I have been in third grade? Like 8, and my parents had already divorced. And my dad had moved to this area of Arizona where it wasn't secluded. Well, okay, it was secluded, but it was still about a 15-minute drive from stores, 15-20-minute drive from stores and whatever. But it was like a lot of land. It was an old house. It was definitely run down, but you could tell at one point it was nicer. My dad was renting it. It had a courtyard that nobody ever used, had this gigantic pool, and like it was very dated, but it was definitely one of the nicer places I stayed in. We didn't stay there for very long because of the things that happened. When we moved in, like the people that had lived there before us, or the owners or whoever was renting it to us, left like weird books in closets and stuff. And then like that was like the first weird thing I remember happening, and I actually ended up reading one of the books. They were crime books. So that's the first like red flag, not a red flag, but just something strange. Not necessarily pertaining to ghosts. And then the house had a really, really bad scorpion problem. Like, I mean, you had to shake out your shoes before putting them on type of problem. And that definitely, like, is either a sign of being cursed or a sign of being haunted, is like, finding insects or having like an unusual amount of like strange animals being around you. Not strange animals, but like if you see a lot of spiders, or like there's a lot of like birds that come and like they fly into your window, or they like are surrounding your house, just like things like that, like frogs. If you see a lot of frogs and you can't explain it, like you've had somebody come out and you've had them look at your house, look for nests, and they can't find anything, usually a sign that you're cursed. And that sounds crazy, but that's, it became such a problem. It was one of the problems, like one of the reasons why we moved. Now, something else that was really weird is that my little brother would get these fevers whenever he was in the house. So if it was my dad's week, he would have like 102 fever all week. He missed a lot of school, and it was really, really weird and really scary. and then he'd go to my mom's house and he'd be fine. I think that the thing that scared me the most about this house was one night when I was sleeping. You know, when you feel like a breeze when someone walks by, like the air moves? I was asleep and I literally felt somebody walk by my bed. I can't explain it other than I felt the air around me shift. And so then I just remember getting up out of my bed and running, like sprinting across this huge house to go wake up my dad. I was terrified. And this memory, like this vivid ass memory, is just like stuck in my head. I was terrified. And like I woke up my dad and I was really scared. And so he turned on some lights and, he put me back to bed and I could not sleep that night. And then there were like other little things, like I very, very clearly saw somebody. I mean, it scared the crap out of me. So I was going to take my bike from the backyard to the courtyard, like area. For whatever reason, you couldn't open the front door to get to the courtyard. I don't know how to explain it. There were like two front doors. There's one by the carport, and there was one that went out to the courtyard. And then you had to go through a fence to walk out of the courtyard to walk over to the carport. So it was just always easier to walk out the front door that went to the carport. That was also right next to the fence. So it was like the gate and then like a wall, and then there's like a carport, and then there's like a door next to the carport, and then all the way on the other side of the house was a courtyard with a fence and then inside of the courtyard was another front door to the house. So nobody ever used the front door, and I can't remember if the door actually worked. Like, I can't remember if the door is broken or not, but we never. So I was going to bring my bike from the backyard all the way to the other side of the house to the courtyard, because I had never, even living in this living in the house, I had never been in the courtyard. So, little me was like just learned how to ride a bike, and I was like, I'm gonna go ride around the courtyard. It had this really creepy like old fountain in it, and all I remember is started dragging my bike from the backyard fence all the way to the courtyard, and I was about halfway there and it was this wooden gate, okay, like a lot of yards in Arizona have, and I could see like through the gate to about right next to the water fountain. I could see next to the water fountain through the gate. And I just saw this woman dressed in all white, and it scared the absolute shit out of me. I dropped my bike. I like ran back to the backyard to tell my dad and his girlfriend. And I just remember just like crying, like I was sobbing. I didn't understand why I had seen that. I didn't understand why she was there. Right, that's right around the time like things started happening like that to me that I can remember. So then the next place I remember, I lived in this place called Sarita, and yeah, I'm saying that the widest way possible, but I'm not gonna try and butcher the Spanish name, okay? So, it's basically like really, really southern Arizona, like in the middle of nowhere by like a casino, and a lot of weird shit happened to me over there. In that house, that was when one of my great grandmothers died on my mom's side, was when I was living in that house. It was a 2-story house, and it started with like, basic like bumps in the night and like, oh, that's probably just the house like adjusting, or small stuff like that easily could have been imagined. Sometimes it sounded like someone was walking around upstairs, or sometimes it sounded like someone was running up and down the stairs, or sometimes it sounded like someone was in the game room, or, a lot of the times it would sound like somebody was dragging something back and forth in my mom's bedroom. But my mom told me this story, actually, when my great-grandmother was pronounced brain dead. the light in my mom's bathroom turned on. And that is when, like, all of the paranormal stuff started to escalate. So now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it could have been her. And maybe it could have been a mix of things. When she finally passed away, um, when she passed away, she was cremated. Some of the family got these like hearts. I'm not even gonna go look for it. I know it's in the house somewhere, but I'm not even gonna go look for it. But it's like a heart, a really beautiful, beautiful heart with her ashes in it. Everyone got a little bit of her, okay? And my mom let me keep it for a little bit, so it'd stay in my room. Now, I would wake up to the box that had the heart in it moved. I would wake up to it. It was in my closet. I'd wake up to it in different parts of my closet. Or if I moved it to my dresser, I'd wake up to it on different parts of my dresser. And so eventually I just told my mom what was happening. My mom believes in the paranormal too, so she didn't think that I was crazy, and she was like, okay, we'll put it in the front living room downstairs. And I was like, okay, cool, because I can't deal with this moving around. I can't deal with waking up and it being moved. I can't do it. I hope they're watching this, but I had my friends Lily and Jasmine over. I believe both of them were over. Maybe it was just Jasmine. Maybe it was Lily and Jasmine. Can't remember. I do believe it was the night though that we had. It was literally Halloween. I do remember my friend Jasmine being there. And Jasmine, I know you watch my videos, so I hope to God you remember this night. We had gotten back before my mom and my cousins got back from trick-or-treating, and the door was unlocked. Nobody was home. We walked in, and we were really scared because nobody was home. I can't remember if my mom was answering her phone calls and texts or not. And so then we like locked the door. I'm pretty sure we heard somebody in the house. And so we're like looking for my mom, looking for my cousins. So something scared the crap out of us, and we ran to my bedroom. And I remember hitting my head against the wall, diving onto my bed because we were so scared. And the door like either opened or it slammed shut or something happened, and it scared the crap out of us to the point where we were like running around my house. My mom finally got home. We were like, crazy stuff is happening, like save us. It was so ridiculous. And then my mom told me this story. I must have been at my dad's house or something when this happened. My mom's boyfriend at the time, even my stepdad now, they don't believe in ghosts, but my mom's boyfriend at the time really thought it was a stupid idea. And he thought, my mom told me, she was like, thought it was so funny because her and I believe in ghosts. It sounded like somebody else was in the house with him, and my ex stepdad thought that somebody had broken into the house, so he grabbed a bat and he's like running around the house looking for whoever is in the house. And my mom's like, you're not gonna find them, like there's nobody in the house. And he's like it sounded like my mom said it sounded like there were people running around the house. And then as he's like looking for whoever's in the house, my mom said it sounded like laughing, like they were laughing at him, because I got goosebumps just now, because there was no one in the house and he was looking for somebody that wasn't there. So my mom said it sounded like, laughing and like someone was running around the house. That's so spooky. Like, that's so spooky, dude. This is like right around the time that I moved back to the town that I went to high school in. I was probably 16 or 17, and my mom had just started dating my stepdad. I had just gotten a job, and I was home alone a lot because this is like right around the time I also stopped living with my real dad, stopped seeing him, so I was at my mom's house a lot, and I was home alone a lot because she was seeing my stepdad, so she was at his house a lot. So it was almost like I was like had the house to myself all the time. In the house that we lived in, if you're sitting in the living room like this, you could see the master bedroom door literally to your left right here, out of your eye. Now, I would go into my mom's room a lot because she had a full body mirror, and I would use her mirror a lot. And when I was home alone, I would just leave that door open because I was going in and out using the mirror when I was getting ready. And it was like this particular thing that had happened was right when I came home from work, and I had left the door open before I went to work because I was getting ready in there. And I just gotten home from work. I was sitting on the couch. I'd put YouTube on because nothing has changed with that. And I was eating. I was scarfing down my food. I was so tired. I was still in my uniform. And I was just like sitting on the couch. And my mom's door slams shut. And I literally stood up off the couch, went, nope, turned off the TV, and I went to my room and I called my mom because it scared the crap out of me. And I was constantly hearing sounds. And with this house, by now I had gotten used to stuff being attracted to me. So whenever something happened, I would just go, no, don't do that. We can't do that. So fast forward to my senior year of high school, senior year, I moved in with my grandparents who didn't live far from this house. Didn't live far from the house that I'd previously lived in. I moved in with them because my mom had moved in with my stepdad, and I still wanted to be close to my work and school and my friends. And as soon as I moved in, of course, like, things happened because just follows me everywhere. My grandma was already convinced that her house was haunted. They had a home office, and my grandma was already convinced that like a woman haunted the office. But when I moved in, something that would continuously happen was they had two offices in their house, and the office next to my bedroom had a TV in it, and I would wake up in the middle of the night to what sounded like white noise, like someone had turned on the TV, but it wasn't on any channel. That was like really the only thing that would happen in that house. And then of course just like the little sounds and little like knocks, and my grandma claimed that she would mess with the computers and the AC, like whoever haunted the office, the main office in their house. So that house wasn't really anything crazy, but after I moved out of my grandma's house, I moved into my own apartment. Um, Nothing strange happened there for the first like 2 months that I lived there. And then I decided to go on a trip to go see my then boyfriend in Flagstaff. I was there for a couple of days, and I came back Wednesday night, late Wednesday night, and I fell asleep. And then I woke up the next morning to my fire alarm like open, and the battery was removed. That was really strange, and I couldn't explain it. I put it on my Snapchat. It just keeps getting darker in here. I'm blending in with my. I'm blending in. I don't have hair. And then after I woke up to the fire alarm open with the battery removed, that's when like I started hearing sounds all the time when like no one was home. My dogs are going crazy because of the storm. I apologize. I would hear like someone in the living room, or just like little things like that. Everywhere I've lived, it's always just been like little things like that, and then like one big main event. So then after my lease was up, well, so then after that school year was over, I moved to a different building where I had the lovely experience with my roommates. I was literally blending in with that, so I just put a different blanket behind me. I moved into a new building, and that is where I had the lovely encounter with my roommates, and you can go watch that video. I'll link it in the description. While I was living there by myself for that first month and a half, the weirdest stuff would happen. I mean, I would wake up at like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning to what sounded like someone walking around in my apartment. And at that point, I was literally by myself. And then when I met my current boyfriend Alex, he started to stay the night, and I just remember like he stayed there for a couple nights, and I know that my roommates weren't there, and we literally we woke up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to what sounded like someone walking around in my room, and we lived on I lived on the top floor, so it couldn't have been the sound of somebody walking around above me. And then um, it sounded like somebody was like literally sprinting in the living room, like literally sprinting around in the living room, and it was so scary. Whenever like creepy stuff happens, Alex just kind of like brushes it off, and he like was just like, go back to sleep, like don't think about it, just go back to sleep. And then eventually I stopped staying at that apartment, like second semester of school, and I started staying at Alex's house. So when I started staying at Alex's house, things started to really escalate. Like, I mean, we were seeing shit, we were hearing shit. If I'm still at Alex's house, like weird stuff will happen. And this is like when I realized like I had a problem. Like I apologized to him and his mom because things were getting so spooky. The first big thing that happened was seeing the shadow figures in his kitchen. Now, if Alex and I would get up to go to the bathroom, or if we got up to go out to the kitchen or to the living room in the middle of the night, then this happened to us on separate occasions. Like, it's just this pure black, like, tall figure. I saw it standing in the kitchen, just standing there. And Alex saw it run across the kitchen. After that, what started happening next was the back door. What would happen is, we'd lock all of the doors before we'd go to bed at night, and we'd get up in the middle of the night, and the back door would be wide open. Now, could it be somebody else in the house? Absolutely. But why would anybody else in the house be up at like 2 o'clock in the morning opening up the back door? Yeah, it's possible, but just would not make any sense. I think it happened twice. What started happening was, if I was taking a shower at Alex's house, it would sound like he was knocking on the door trying to get in, and he'd be saying my name. And I'd come out of the shower, and he'd either be somewhere else, or not at home at all, or like he'd be outside. And then I'd be like, Alex, like, why were you trying to get in the bathroom? And he'd be like, I wasn't. And then it happened to him too, where he thought that I was calling his name, and I wasn't. And then we would all hear each other's voices when we weren't talking to each other. And then whatever follows me started to pretend to be the dog as well. He has the most adorable pit bull. Like, weird stuff would happen, like she'd be in her crate and we'd hear her clawing at the door to get in when she'd be in the crate in the bedroom with us. Or she would be on the bed with us and we would see Mama, or she'd be on the bed with us and we would see her walk across the bedroom when she would be on the bed with us. We would see her on the bed or on the couch or in the crate, and she'd be somewhere else. She'd be outside, or she would be somewhere else. I remember one time I was sitting in his bedroom with a dog on the bed taking a nap with me, and I heard his grandfather in the kitchen tell a dog no, and that really freaked me out. Alex can tell you, I texted him immediately asking why he was yelling at a dog when the dog was in the bedroom. And So weird stuff started happening like that. This isn't necessarily paranormal, but there was a short period of time where we'd hear people in the front yard, um, or like his dog would growl at some, like would be looking up. We would leave the window open sometimes so it let air flow, and the dog would be like staring out the window, like growling, and we couldn't see anybody in the front yard. Like Alex can vouch for me. Like I've woken him up plenty times in the middle of the night, thinking somebody was outside of the window, which is really not fun. And so now we get to my mom's house, the current house we're living in. So ever since I started living at this house, it's been like little things like waking up to my TV on, or like coming home from work and my TV being turned on. I don't know what it is with my TV recently, but things get moved around a lot. Like, I have heard my parents talk about, like, oh, I put this right here, like, where is it? Oh, I don't know, I can't find it. And then, like, it literally just, like, disappears. And that happened at my boyfriend's house, too, where, like, things literally would disappear and you would never see it ever again in the house. A lot of the times, I feel like I'm being watched. I've definitely seen like my door move. Just my bedroom door though. If you guys want to see more paranormal story times, because I have so many of them, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. So just let me know what you guys want to see in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching my piece of shit video, and I will see you guys later.